कि कभी हमने ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं किया था. So now after the learning session gets over, what comes next?
Enjoy some entertainment.
Assessment. Okay, so assessment is now we are going to do the assessment. So suppose you all are students, I'm your teacher. I'm coming in the class and hello children. So today we are going to have a surprise test. Take out the middle page of your copy and start writing. I'm going to write the question on the blackboard, and don't forget that this marks will be added in the annual report card. So what do you feel? What will be the reaction of children? They will get scared and annoyed. My goodness, what will happen? So actually this thing we have to avoid. We're going to learn how can we avoid all this situation. Okay, so in this session we are going to learn how to plan for the assessment, a joyful assessment, not a scary one कि बस एग्जाम का नाम सुन के असेसमेंट का नाम सुन के बच्चे घबरा जाए कि अब क्या होने वाला है, मेरा तो एक ही नंबर आएगा, मेरा तो दो आएगा. Like that they will start thinking like that. Okay, so we are going to learn how to plan for a joyful assessment. Okay, so we'll start with some theoretical part, then we'll go for some practical part, and then I will ask you to plan for some assessment. I'll provide a link, and for that I'll make group again, but later on after we'll do the theoretical part. Okay, so let's begin. So you know that the children from classes 3 to 5, or we can say from classes 3 to 8, they all are curious, active, keen, energetic and very sensitive. एक नंबर भी कम आ गया, they will start feeling bad. Okay, so we have to think of their sentiments also, and we should try to respect that. Okay, so children are curious. So during the learning, only we think that it is the scope of something means doing something exciting or learning is there only. But you know that during the assessment also, we can say that children will learn something. So assessment we have to make like that so that they can learn something. They are very keen to learn. Okay, they are curious to learn to something and energetic also. Now next slide. So while making the assessment, yes, by making the planning for the assessment sheet, we should try to keep this thing in mind about the children, like about the multiple intelligences, MI. So if you remember, I took one session that was the hybrid mode session last time. So it was about multiple intelligences. Okay. So if you remember that we have discussed that the musical and visual, special and interpersonal, intrapersonal, all these types of children are there in our class. Okay. Like suppose if we'll say that the children who are visual, special, it means they learn when we show them something. Okay, if you write something on the blackboard, means this is the note, just note it down, so they will not understand. Might be they will not understand. But if you will teach them through some diagrams or some pictures or some interesting thing like that, they will grasp more, they will learn more. Okay, so while making the assessment sheet, we have to keep these things in our mind. Okay, about all these type of children which are present in our class. So knowing our children, that is very, very important. Okay, so this is the first thing we have to keep in our mind while planning for an assessment sheet. Next is, now generally we think that assessment and evaluation both are same. Okay, but actually there are some differences. So let's find out what are the differences. Assessment and evaluation. See this side. Assessment is an ongoing process. Means not only it is taken after the end of means at the end of the session, but it should be taken while the session is going on. Continuous process it is. Okay, not only at the end of the session, but evaluation, it provides the closure. Means it is generally taken at the end of the session. कि मत आपका syllabus cover हो गया, portion completed, and now you are going to sit in an exam and you are going to be evaluated. Okay, they will get marks and that's all. But assessment is not like that. It is the ongoing process. वो आपको time to time लेते रहना है. Monthly or weekly also you can assess the children what they are doing. It is positive. Assessment is positive. Means if the child is not able to do something or any worksheet or assessment, then the negative comment should not be given. ये तुम्हारा कम आया, तुम नहीं कर सकते हो. No problem. In the next worksheet, in the next assessment, definitely you will do, and I trust you will do. Okay, so this gives a positive vibe, a positive attitude in the children, and the evaluation, it is judgmental. We sometimes we become judgmental, like कि ये इसका कम ही marks आता है. अरे he never does, he never writes in the answer sheet. कुछ भी इसको आप दीजिए question, even value MCQs and choose the correct option, which we think are very very easy. कोई भी कर लेगा, तुम नहीं कर पाते हो. Sometimes you think like that. So they generally don't able to do, and we feel कि ये तो नहीं कर पाते, है ना? So that is evaluation is generally it is judgmental, and there are some common features also, like it is written in between. It is both require criteria that use measures and evidence driven. So these are evidence driven. जो भी हमको सामने दिखेगा उसके basis पे हम assess करते हैं या फिर evaluate करते हैं. Whatever we'll get in the answer sheet, we'll evaluate on the basis of that only. Okay, and assessment also the evidence. So evidence from where we can get. So we'll discuss it later on कि हम कहाँ से evidence लेके आए कि बच्चे का assessment अच्छे से हुआ and बच्चे ने जो भी हम उनको सिखाया है हमने वो सारा सीखे. ठीक है? So evidence how to collect. Now the next is, now as I told you कि assessment also helps us to helps the child to learn something. So in what way they will learn? So last year also, like Indu ma'am and Krishna ma'am, they told about KSA. So K, that stands for knowledge, S for skill, and A attitude wise. So after the assessment also, child should be able to learn something knowledge wise, then skill wise and attitude wise. So what knowledge they can gain? Content and the subjects. The child should be enriched with respect to the content and the subject, whatever we are teaching them. And understanding the topic should be clear. There should not be any confusion like that. So to clear the confusion, we have learned lots of experiments and activities in the previous sessions, so that we can do, so that will help them to get the better marks or get better grades in the assessment. So that will help us. Next is skill wise. The child should be able to research and observe. Like observation, ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है, the child should be able to find out all that thing. So that is skill is we are developing, and the child is developing himself and analyzing information, critical thinking and creativity. So all these things we have seen in the previous sessions. Attitude wise, what attitude should be developed? So that should be personal, family and community relationship. So the child should be able to behave properly. And sometimes we may face the behavioral problem in the class, isn't it? I think there must be one or two children in the class that show some behavioral problem. So by teaching them to behave properly, it will not help. So we have to give such type of assessments or such type of activities to those children so that they can improve their behavior. So that also we can do through the assessment. So planning assessment, that is why it is very important. And working in collaboration. So some children like those who love to work independently, they don't like to collaborate. But this value we have to develop. After all, we all are social animal, and the children have to be means brought up like that only. Okay, so these things should be there, and these should be developed after the assessment. Okay, and we only take care of all these things. Next is, now while planning for the assessment for any class, not necessarily for the higher classes, if they will just take part in the development of the nation or development of the world in this way, but we can start it from the very early age, from class 3 itself. So we should try to include the SDGs or Sustainable Developmental Goals in our assessment plan. Okay, so what are the SDGs? So the SDGs are a collection of 17 interlinked objectives designed to serve as a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future. So that we all can be prosperous and we can grow equally, we can develop equally. So these SDGs are planned and it was established in the year 2015, and the vision is to complete it by 2030. Okay, and the 17 goals are there and 169 targets and 191 nations are countries are involved in this, and India is one of them. So we have to include the children also in SDGs so that they can take part in development of the nation. So how to include all these SDGs we'll also learn later on. So let us find out what are the 17 sustainable development goals.
What is the second point? What does it mean?
Envision. Envision is 2030. Envision means the vision is to complete the target by the year 2030.
We should be completing it.
Yeah. The target is kept, said that. Let's see. Okay. The next is, what are the 17 sustainable goals? The picture is there. So these are written, but I have next video that will help you to understand better. Next.
These are.
Did you show it? If net is there, it will. Control. Most probably net is not there. Okay. Acha, leave it.
Update.
Again. Control.
Do you have papers? Samita, paper.